Look, most people, they wake up tired with confusing emotions and lacking motivation. Ultimately, this makes the day a complete uphill battle just to progress their life or get their life going in the direction that they want it to be, or just to be happy. And the worst part is that after weeks and months of this process on repeat, they tend to get to a point in their life where it just feels like they're running their life in autopilot mode, going through the motions of life, being zapped of all their energy and vitality. And you might find yourself in a similar situation. In fact, how many things did you do yesterday that really brought you true joy in life? If it was hard for you to think of at least 5 things, then this might be an indicator that you're running your life in autopilot mode too. Now, the worst part about being in this place is the negative thoughts and self-doubt that begin to creep up in your mind. You start thinking, is this really all my life has amounted to? Why are other people on social media able to live these extraordinary lives where they're always in a fun-loving attitude, joking with their friends and family and traveling to these awesome places? If you know what I'm talking about, it might feel like you're left as a lesser version of yourself. I mean, growing up, we have this idea of the man we're going to become and what our life is going to look like. But sadly, most people, they never get to this vision they have for themselves. And the reason is usually because they're not setting themselves up for success. You see, in the new era of health, we tap into how we are hardwired as a human to elevate our lives like the pill in Limitless. You know, we follow a specific workout and nutrition protocol so that you gain clean and potent energy, like a kid on a playground. And this energy, it enables you to tackle your to-do list, errands, and chores, ultimately skyrocketing your productivity like a NASA rocket. And when this happens, you find that you feel amazing about yourself at the end of the day, because you really are progressing your life where you imagined it would be, instead of feeling down on yourself for slacking. You notice that you simply think more clearly, which enables you to process information and crack jokes on the spot, ultimately boosting your social life and capability. But most importantly, you find yourself in a fun-loving attitude where you're happy, instead of being grumpy and irritable. And at the end of the day, isn't that what life is about? I mean, I know from personal experience that when I'm not happy, it destroys all areas of my life. You know, I kind of lash out at others because of my own issues, my own insecurities. And when this happens, it starts a snowball effect of sadness until I'm in a dark place where I don't feel good about who I am or where my life is going. And you might find yourself in a similar situation. But could you imagine how much more happy, confident, and capable you'd be if every day you woke up energized, mentally sharp, and were ready to own your day? Well, the good news is that I'm about to hand you some of the secrets we use in the new era of health to attain this alpha state of yourself. And if you apply them to your life, results, they're guaranteed, because our protocol, it's based off evolution, biology, and psychology. In fact, we're tapping into how you are hardwired as a human. Now, the first thing we do to boost our energy levels, cognitive function, and mood is that we have your body use fats for energy instead of glycogen, which is likely what your body's using right now. Because the reality is that humans, we've evolved using fats for energy. But look, I know some of you are calling BS in your heads right now, so let me explain. As you likely know, we adapt in order to survive. That's why when you tan, your skin gets darker. What's really happening is your body is adapting to the stress of the sunlight so that next time it won't be damaged as much. That's also why if you were to get sandpaper and rub it on your hand would start bleeding, but in a few days, it would come back tougher and stronger in the form of a callus. That's even why you're able to gain muscle. What you're really doing is breaking down your muscle fibers, and then they are adapting and coming back stronger so that next time they can handle the stress that you're applying to it. So if carbs or glycogen were meant to be our main source of fuel, why can our bodies only hold 1,600 calories of glycogen, but they can hold 72,000 calories of fats? Wouldn't that make it less likely for us to survive because it would limit our energy? And also, why are there essential fatty acids but no essential glycogen? Now remember that essential means we need to get it from our diet in order to survive. Now, it's both of these reasons that cause me to believe that fats are meant to be our main source of fuel. And once you become fat adapted, you will simply feel, look, and think better than you ever have and realize that our bodies really should have been using fats. So you're probably wondering, well, okay, Adam, how do I become fat adapted? And pretty much what you need to do is follow a high fat, low carb diet for about 3 to 4 weeks. Now personally, I recommend that you do the paleo diet because it's less restrictive than most of these other high fat diets. Now I'll leave a link somewhere around this video that will tell you how to do a paleo diet. And if not, just go to my channel and just type in paleo diet and you'll see how to do it the correct way. Now the next thing we do in the New Era of Health is we dial in your circadian rhythm like a clock. Now your circadian rhythm is pretty much your body's internal clock and deals a lot with your hormones. Now the thing is, most people, they know hormones are important, but they don't really know to the actual extent. So I want you to think about people who take steroids. They often get roid rage, where the smallest thing, it ticks them off like a bomb. That's simply because they have a surplus of testosterone and their hormones, they aren't optimized. Basically, when your hormones aren't optimized, your energy and your mood, they aren't optimized. So what you can do to hack your circadian rhythm and thus your hormones and thus your energy and mood is, first of all, get sunlight as early in the day as possible and then go to bed earlier. Now the best quality sleep is going to be from 10 to 2, so I recommend that you're asleep during that time. And I promise you that if you do these two things for a week straight, you're going to feel more energized than a kid on a playground. In fact, let me tell you a story that will further this point. You see, on June 29th of 2016, I was stabbed in the arm, chest, and throat. The blade, it went extremely deep in my arm. It punctured my lung. It went halfway through my throat. I was left on the floor to die. But instead, I woke up 7 days later from an induced coma, and I was living off tubes. If you unplugged those tubes, you unplugged my life. And while I was grateful to be alive, it felt like I lost all sense of who I was. My legs forgot how to work. In fact, I couldn't even stand up. I had nerve damage in my tongue that prevented me from being able to talk, even after I wasn't living off tubes. And I lost every ounce of muscle I had from years of weightlifting. But the worst part was probably like my energy levels, they were just completely depleted. In fact, I remember I'd be eating a meal and halfway through, like eating, I'd have to nap because I was so tired. I couldn't even finish eating a meal. And on top of it, my brain couldn't solve a simple equation like 11 times 11. It felt like my cognitive function was comparable to a 4-year-old's. But the worst part was what happened to me mentally. My confidence disappeared like a quarter in a magic show, and my head was plagued with negative thoughts and self-doubt. I was left asking myself, will I ever become the man that I always imagined I'd become? Am I ever going to be able to accomplish the goals that I have for myself? Or am I destined for a life of mediocrity where my potential, it rots away with my ambitions? Now, I spent the next few weeks contemplating these questions, and ultimately, I decided that I wasn't going to go down like this. That's when I began researching the secrets of evolution, biology, and psychology that enabled me to build myself up. Simply put, I discovered how to tap into how we are hardwired as a human to permanently erase all self-doubt, anxiety, and procrastination. I applied all of this ancient wisdom to my life, and the results, they were unreal. Every single day that I woke up, I was more happy, more confident, and more ambitious than the day before. Instead of having that internal battle with myself to do the things that would improve my life, I simply took action. In fact, I accomplished more in one day than I used to in an entire week. And it was only once I attained this alpha state of myself that I became proud of who I saw in the mirror. And I only got to this point because I upgraded myself on a cellular level. And I hope you do the same by using the tips in this video. Now, if you made it this far in the video, it shows me that you belong in the new era of health because you're willing to put in the work to improve yourself, and I respect that. So I'd love for you to officially join us by hitting that subscribe button, liking this video, and introducing yourself in the comments. Tell me that you are a conqueror and that you refuse to live a mediocre life.